The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Zekthor of the Vraxian Empire transmitted the declaration. His chitinous mandibles clicked with satisfaction as the holographic document materialized before the assembled representatives of 47 species. The terms were absolute. The ultimatum was clear. Humanity would surrender all colonies, dismantle their fleets, and submit to Vraxian oversight, or face total extermination. "You have 72 standard hours to respond," Zekthor announced, his voice reverberating through the translation matrices. "Choose wisely, humans. We have conquered 200 systems. Your species is alone, young, and inexperienced. Surrender is your only logical path." The human ambassador, a silver-haired woman named Elena Vasquez, sat motionless at Earth's designated station. She didn't flinch. She didn't argue. She simply tapped her datapad once and rose from her seat. "Ambassador Vasquez?" Zekthor's tone carried a hint of confusion. "You have not responded to our terms." Elena looked up at the towering alien, her dark eyes betraying nothing. "I just did." On every screen in the chamber, a single word appeared in humanity's response transmission. "Approved." Confusion rippled through the council. The Korlathi representative leaned forward, her crystalline features refracting the chamber's light. "You accept our terms of surrender?" "No," Elena said calmly, gathering her materials. "You declared total war. We approved your declaration." "There's a difference." She turned and walked toward the exit, her footsteps echoing in the stunned silence. Zekthor's mandibles spread wide in what his species considered laughter. "Madness. Your fleet number's barely 3,000 ships. Our armada counts 20,000. Your population is scattered across merely 38 worlds. We control territories spanning 800 systems." Elena paused at the doorway and glanced back over her shoulder. "You should have done more research about what humans mean by total war, Ambassador. We wrote the doctrine, and we've been very, very careful not to practice it since we joined the galactic community." The door sealed behind her with a hydraulic hiss. 72 hours later, the Vraxian armada arrived at the outer markers of the Sol system, expecting to find scattered defensive formations and desperate last-minute fortifications. Instead, they found nothing. No ships, no stations, just empty space and the distant gleam of Earth's sun. "Scan for their fleet," Zekthor commanded from his flagship. The Conqueror's pride. "They must be hiding in the asteroid fields or behind the outer planets." The sensor officer's response came with a tremor of uncertainty. "Commander, I'm detecting something, multiple gravity signatures, but the readings don't match any known ship classifications." "Explain." "They're not ships, sir. They're structures, massive ones, positioned at equidistant points around the system's perimeter." Before Zekthor could respond, every communication channel blazed to life simultaneously. Elena Vasquez's face appeared on every screen of every Vraxian vessel. Behind her, banks of monitors displayed tactical readouts in what appeared to be an enormous operations center staffed by thousands. "Hello again, Ambassador," she said. Her voice was cordial, almost friendly. "Welcome to Sol. Since you've declared total war, I thought I should explain what you're facing. Those structures your sensors detected, we call them Hellmouth stations. Each one contains 40,000 autonomous combat drones, 200 orbital kinetic bombardment platforms, and enough antimatter warheads to crack a continental plate." Zekthor's mandibles twitched nervously. "You're bluffing. The Geneva Conventions, the Treaty of Proxima, the Accords of applied during peacetime and limited military actions," Elena interrupted. "You declared total war, Ambassador. That means all restrictions are lifted, all protocols suspended, all safeguards removed. The weapons we've been prohibited from using, the tactics we've been forbidden from employing, the doctrines we've kept buried in classified archives for 2 centuries, all approved for deployment." She leaned forward, and for the first time Zekthor saw something terrifying in her expression. Not anger, not hatred, just cold absolute certainty. "Do you know what humanity did before we reached the stars?" Elena continued. "We waged total war against ourselves. We fought with nuclear fire. We starved entire populations. We turned our own atmosphere into a weapon. We created doctrines like mutually assured destruction and scorched earth. We built weapons specifically designed to cause maximum suffering because we understood that in total war, mercy is a luxury no one can afford." The holographic display behind her shifted, showing archival footage that made several Vraxian officers recoil, Cities in flames, mushroom clouds, orbital strikes, chemical warfare, bioweapons unleashed, strategic famines engineered with mathematical precision. We've spent 200 years learning to be civilized, Elena said softly. Learning diplomacy, learning restraint. We joined the galactic community and followed your rules because we wanted to be better than what we were, but you've just given us permission to remember what we are. Zekthor's voice came out as barely a whisper. You would sacrifice your own worlds? In total war? Yes, every human knows this. Every colony has voted on this. If you advance past this perimeter, Earth itself becomes a weapons platform. Our sun will be destabilized if necessary. Our planet will be rendered uninhabitable before we let you take it. And we will make certain that for every human life you take, you will pay with 100 of your own. That's not a threat, Ambassador. That's mathematics. The Vraxian commander looked at his tactical displays, finally understanding the trap he'd walked into. The human fleet wasn't hiding. It was dispersed across 36 systems, positioned not to defend but to strike at Vraxian territory simultaneously. Every human colony had transformed into a fortress. Every civilian transport had been converted into a potential kinetic weapon. You're insane, Zekthor whispered. No, Elena corrected. We're experienced. There's a reason we tried so hard to avoid this, Ambassador. It's not because we feared losing. It's because we know exactly what we become when we fight total war, and we've spent 2 centuries trying to be something better. She stood, her image growing larger on every screen. You have 24 hours to withdraw your forces and petition for peace negotiations. If you refuse, we will interpret that as confirmation of your commitment to total war. And then, Ambassador Zekthor, you will learn why every species in human history that pushed us to total war ended up as a footnote in the archives. The transmission ended. 19 hours later, the Vraxian armada began its withdrawal. The formal apology from the Vraxian Empire arrived 3 days after that, along with reparations and a request for a non-aggression pact that would last 1,000 years. Elena Vasquez stood in the operations center, watching the alien fleets retreat on the monitors. A young officer approached her cautiously. Ma'am, they're calling it the shortest war in galactic history. 23 hours from declaration to surrender and not a single shot fired. Elena nodded slowly, her expression weary. Make sure it stays in the history books, Lieutenant. Make sure every species knows what happened here. Not because I want them to fear us, but because I want them to understand. When humans say never again, we mean it. We will never start a total war. But if someone forces us into one... She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. The word approved had said everything that mattered.